Good morning. I'm Brent Adams here with your Rural Strong Morning Ag Report for this Friday, January 19th. Leading off the headlines this morning, beef markets are eagerly awaiting two upcoming USDA cattle reports. More on that from USDA Radio's Gary Crawford.
Is the contraction of the beef herd just about over, or will it continue? A USDA livestock analyst says this week's monthly USDA cattle on feed report probably will not provide the answers for that. Shael Shagam says cattle markets are going to have to wait a few more days for USDA's big cattle inventory report,
which will give us an estimate of the actual number of cattle in the U.S., the number of cattle in all feedlots, not just the 1,000-plus feedlots that these reports track, as well as the number of cows, both dairy and beef cows.
So mark your calendars. USDA will be releasing its cattle inventory report January 31st. That may give us a better handle on where the beef industry is headed. Gary Crawford reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
And on the topic of cattle, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association strongly supports the Death Tax Repeal Act introduced in both the House and the Senate. The NCBA says it's unconscionable for cattle producers to face a tax that forces them to sell all or part of their family's farm or ranch due to the death of a family member. With the cost of farmland rising rapidly, the death tax presents a significant threat to the future of family farms and ranches, says NCBA President Todd Wilkinson of South Dakota. Most cattle producers have significant assets but are cash poor and operate on thin margins, leaving them with few options when they're saddled with an unexpected tax liability. The NCBA says some producers get forced to sell off assets, including land, livestock, farm equipment, and even their home. Current death tax relief expires at the end of 2025, and it's vital that Congress acts soon to provide permanent relief. Well, yesterday, we brought you a clip on the latest update on the Farm Bill process, including a clip with Senate Ag Chair Debbie Stabenow. Today, we learned that she insists a long overdue Farm Bill can get done this year if all parties are serious. It's been more than 3.5 months since the 2018 Farm Bill expired and was extended by 1 year. Asked outside the Senate chamber if another extension would be needed, Stabenow had this caveat.
We can get this done if people are serious. If people are serious about it, I'm serious about it. If people want to come together and do it in a bipartisan way, which we've always done, and do the doable, we can absolutely pass a farm bill.
But disagreements over how to spread fixed funding between nutrition and crop support triggers or reference prices have stood in the way, as have broader appropriations fights and delays.
So we lost revenue in that process. And then as we move forward, all of these delays have focused CBO on appropriations, so we couldn't get scores. And there have been many delays as it relates to the churning and the chaos.
Stabenow says U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack's focus on using CCC dollars, as he did to boost foreign marketing programs, is just one answer to funding a new farm bill.
But CCC is part of that. The commitment Senator Schumer made to me to add some additional money, unheard of, to take money outside the farm bill to put in. We're looking at everything we can. Frankly, I think this is very doable in reference prices.
Stabenow says crop insurance, with its immediate payout for more than 130 crops, has been highly effective, but ARC and PLC less so, with payout delays of a year or more. So once a farm bill is up in her panel, Stabenow says she wants to focus on those things with the quickest payout for the most producers. Well, non-real estate farm lending activity at commercial banks continues to decline in the fourth quarter of 2023. The volume of new non-real estate farm loans in the final months of 2023 was about 15% less than the previous year. The number of new loans did increase from the previous year, but the average loan sizes were considerably lower. The sharp climb in farm loan interest rates abated during the quarter as the average rates increased modestly for some types of loans and dropped slightly for others. Despite a reduction in new loans compared to late 2022, 2023's outstanding farm debt balances reported by commercial banks grew steadily through the third quarter of 2023. Elevated production costs, higher interest expenses, and lower commodity prices increased the financing needs for many producers. The Kansas City Fed says strong liquidity in recent years likely supplemented the borrowing needs of some operations throughout 2023. Well, the USDA recently awarded its latest round of Market Access Program and Foreign Market Development Program awards to assist organizations in opening and expanding global ag export markets. Here again with the details is Rod Bain.
Investment in foreign market development and access for U.S. farm and food goods. That's behind the latest awards for ag organizations participating in USDA's Market Access Program and Foreign Market Development Program.
MAP and FMD are Farm Bill mandated programs. They're funded annually through a competitive application process each year. We award these funds to industry partners.
Chris Jaquette of the Foreign Agricultural Service says for fiscal year 2024, almost 70 nonprofit organizations and cooperatives will receive over $174 million through MAP, while $27 million is allocated to 20 trade organizations under FMD.
So they use these funds and they have developed a long-term strategy that these allocations are based upon. We're active all around the world, depending on commodity and the need and available market.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
And finally this morning, a bit of encouraging news for those in rural America who rely on AM radio. The radio industry hit an important milestone as the number of lawmakers in the House who back efforts to make AM radio mandatory in vehicles has reached 200. The list has grown even as the proposed AM Radio in Every Vehicle Act has yet to make much legislative progress in the House. Insider Radio says the growth in support could be critical if bill sponsors try to attach the measure to a piece of must-pass legislation like a spending bill. National Association of Broadcasters spokesman Alex Siciliano credits grassroots support for helping broadcasters to gain so many co-sponsors of the act during the past year. AM radio is continuing to reach a vast audience of 82 million listeners each month, and they've been very engaged in telling Congress how important this medium is to them in light of the threat by vehicle makers to remove AM radio from vehicles, he says. And we at Rural Strong Media have been in the fray on this issue for the past year, and we hope you'll join us by reaching out to your congressperson and telling them to support the AM Radio in Every Vehicle Act so we don't lose AM radio in the dash or anywhere else. Well, you can keep up with the latest from the world of agriculture by subscribing to the Tractors and Troubadours podcast from Rural Strong Media. Each week, I bring you agriculture industry newsmakers, hot button industry issues, educational features, and the best in traditional country music. The Tractors and Troubadours podcast can be found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Episode 115 just dropped this morning, and we encourage you to check it out. We're talking water use management tools with Helena and the latest in corn offerings from NK Seeds. We also learn about efforts to sell Mexican buyers on U.S. pork cuts, and we hear the music of emerging country artist Austin McKetty. Again, that can be found on episode 115 of the Tractors and Troubadours podcast, found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We also invite you to join us daily on Rural Strong Radio, our 24/7 streaming radio station, found at ruralstrongmedia.com or on the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. Each day, we bring you our award-winning agriculture programming, as well as the best in traditional country music, mixed in with a little bluegrass, western swing, southern rock, and inspirational music. Again, the place to find Rural Strong Radio is ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. We're portable, so take us with you everywhere you go while you're working on the farm or ranch. Let's get through the workday together. Well, I'll be back on Monday with another Rural Strong Morning Ag Report here on Steve Shetler Media. Make it a great weekend, everybody.